50 years ago, a mysterious meteor blazed across the skies of Earth, releasing an unusual green energy. At that exact moment, a group of friends was racing their bikes, with the final showdown between a young girl named Infurio and her older brother, Anton. As the race kicked off, Anton surged ahead, but Infurio wasn't far behind, doing her best to catch up. Sensing her gaining on him, Anton activated a hidden saw blade that sliced her bike in two, sending his sister crashing in the middle of the track. Just when it seemed like the race was over for her, a green mist from the meteor drifted toward Infurio and entered her body. Possessed by an unknown power, she miraculously reassembled her broken bike and jumped back into the race, pedaling with supernatural speed. As Anton neared the finish line, Infurio caught up and shoved him off course, sending him crashing into the garage door. Olaf, a friend, ran to help Anton, but Infurio stood tall, stronger than ever, and declared that from that day forward, her brother would follow her lead. Decades passed. Anton became a scientist, obsessed with the event that changed their lives. He built a machine designed to absorb the very energy that had once empowered his sister. According to his calculations, the same meteor would pass Earth again after 50 years, and this time, Anton planned to use it to take back control, and maybe even get revenge. Meanwhile, Infurio had become a supervillain, wearing a high-tech suit to conceal her identity, committing increasingly daring crimes using her enhanced powers. Elsewhere in the city, a young boy named Will was eagerly awaiting the birth of his baby brother, Charlie. He recorded daily life with his camera, capturing his novelist mother, his police officer dad, and his older sister, Weira. Will also loved superheroes, and often talked about his school life, which included daily torment from a trio of bullies. Luckily, his dad occasionally stepped in and saved him. The officer was currently chasing a mysterious masked criminal, unaware that the villain he was hunting was actually Infurio. The day Charlie was born, the meteor made its return. Anton and Olaf were waiting at the lab with their machine, but just as the meteor came into view, the device malfunctioned. Even worse, the meteor shifted course and passed directly by a hospital window where newborn Charlie was sleeping. The green mist found a new host. Without anyone realizing it, the baby absorbed the meteor's power. Back in the lab, Anton was furious over the failed plan and realized he'd have to wait another 50 years unless he could find another way. He then repurposed his machine to drain Infurio's powers directly and use them for himself. Meanwhile, Will was adjusting to life with a new baby in the house, and not in a good way. His room was turned into Charlie's nursery, his parents were always busy, and the worst part, he couldn't even play with his brother yet. One day, Will tried to confront his parents about the attention Charlie was getting, but during the argument, Charlie unknowingly used telekinesis to move his toys. Later that night, while Will was lying on a mattress in his father's old office, a note fell from the wall. Curious, he started organizing old case files and discovered a pattern in the masked criminal's robberies. He rushed to tell his father, but the man was too exhausted from caring for the baby to listen. Frustrated, Will decided to investigate on his own, but as he was about to leave, his mom handed him Charlie, asking him to take the baby for a walk while she worked. So, off they went, straight to the next suspected crime scene. Inside a warehouse, Will discovered several thieves disguised as waiters stealing electronics. He tried recording the crime, but Charlie's cries gave them away. When the criminals spotted them, one man tried to grab the baby, but Charlie lifted him into the air and slammed him to the ground with his powers. More thieves came after them, but Charlie kept revealing new abilities, glowing with light, magnetizing their weapons, and even freezing one robber's face. The last attacker drove a forklift toward the baby, but Charlie hurled it away, knocking all the criminals unconscious. Will was stunned. His baby brother was some kind of superhuman. Anton's henchmen, beaten and bruised, reported back that a powerful being the size of a baby had attacked them. Anton immediately suspected what had happened. Meanwhile, Will returned home realizing that Charlie could now talk and decided to keep his powers a secret. Using his comic book knowledge, Will began training Charlie in what it means to be a superhero. Although excited, Will also grew jealous. He had no powers and was just the sidekick. That night, he imagined his favorite comic hero, Flying Muscle, who suggested that Will could fight crime using Charlie's powers while taking all the credit himself. Will agreed, and the next day gave Charlie a shirt labeled S for support, while he wore a shirt labeled M for master. They set up a secret base on the roof, but when Will asked Charlie to show off his powers again, the baby just cried. He quickly fed him a bottle, unaware that Anton was watching them from a nearby building. Later, when Will chased a suspicious truck, the same one from the depot, he was ambushed by the same bullies, but Charlie jumped out of his stroller, grabbed the lead bully, and pounded him into the ground. The rest ran off terrified. Afterwards, Charlie pushed Will in a cart at incredible speed to catch up with the truck. The chase led them to a hidden facility. Inside, they found stolen tech, exoskeleton suits, and even a secret lab. But when Charlie got scared and started crying, Olaf and Infurio's goons heard the noise and chased them. Will escaped with Charlie through a ladder inside an air vent, barely reaching a basketball court above ground. They hid behind a dumpster and called their dad to come get them. Charlie cried again for hunger, but Will cheered him up with a tickle game they used to play. It was a small but heartfelt moment that reminded Will of the bond they were building. When their dad arrived, he was wearing new police armor and had been assigned one last chance to catch the masked villain, equipped with high-tech weapons from a new supplier. At the amusement park where the villain was last spotted, Will asked to help, but his dad said no. Charlie tried comforting his brother, saying he was proud of him and hoped to be as smart and brave one day. Will, touched by this, realized he couldn't keep using his brother for selfish reasons. But when news broke that a time bomb had been planted at the park, Will couldn't stay behind. He rushed in just as his father was confronting the masked villain. The officer tried to retrieve his weapon, only to accidentally shock himself due to its criminal-proof security feature. Charlie saw his dad collapse and tried to wake him, not with powers, but by biting his finger. It worked. The officer came to, just in time to face the villain. He fired the weapon and knocked the thief into a stack of portable toilets. One collapsed, right on top of Will. The villain's mask was removed to reveal Olaf. With the fake thief caught and the bomb defused with seconds to spare, the day was saved, at least for now. Anton, watching the news, realized the whole plot was Infurio's trick. Olaf was a decoy while she prepared her true plan, but he saw an opportunity when Will's embarrassing photos from the park went viral. He approached the boy with a tempting offer, a way to stop being a joke and become a real hero. He gave Will a card with his address. Back at home, the family was celebrating their father's success, but Will knew they had the wrong person. No one believed him. He stormed into Charlie's room, unaware the baby was using telepathy to read his backpack. There, Charlie discovered notes where Will admitted to using his powers for fame. Hurt, Charlie kicked him out of the room using his abilities. Distraught, Will retreated to the rooftop and imagined Flying Muscle again, who encouraged him to go see the scientist. At the trailer, Anton gave Will a potion to weaken Charlie temporarily so his powers could be transferred. Hesitant but desperate, Will gave Charlie the bottle. Charlie became weak, barely able to speak. Realizing his mistake, Will rushed to Anton's trailer and demanded the cure. But Anton had other plans. He trapped Will and disguised himself as a chauffeur to get closer to Charlie during a family event. Will escaped and caught up just as Anton kidnapped Charlie, crashing into Will along the way. Surprisingly, the bullies came to Will's aid, giving him a bike to continue the chase. At the venue, Will saw Anton sneaking Charlie away and found an open window in the kitchen. Inside, Anton placed the baby into the energy-draining machine. Will, hiding, swapped the power serum with a cup of coffee. Infurio appeared, demanding answers. Anton claimed he was testing an invention and drank what he thought was the serum, only to find it was just coffee. Infurio easily defeated him and locked him in a room. Will almost drank the serum to gain powers, but remembered the moments he and Charlie shared. He gave the serum to his brother instead, reviving his strength. Meanwhile, their father was about to sign a contract for more weapons. Will burst in and accused the supplier, Infurio, of being the real villain. People laughed until he triggered her belt, revealing her suit. Infurio kidnapped Will and soared into the sky, then dropped him. Just before he hit the ground, Charlie, now back to full power, caught him. A fierce sky battle followed. They dueled with church bells as weapons, and when Infurio attacked their parents, Charlie protected them with force fields. She tried to shrink him with a laser, but Anton escaped and deflected the beam back at her, shrinking her instead. Even tiny, she was still a threat until Will and Charlie used the machine to absorb her powers for good. The city was saved. The villain was locked away. Anton tried to steal the powers again, but Will stopped him, saying powers belong to those who deserve them. Charlie erased everyone's memories except Will's, ensuring his secret stayed safe. Days later, their mom launched a new book about a baby with superpowers, inspired by real events she'd never remember. Will and Charlie, now closer than ever, continue their journey fighting crime together as brains and brawn. And that's the origin of Super Charlie. If you enjoyed this recap, leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more epic stories. See you in the next one.